What's up, guys? Welcome back. Zenitsu, Flaming Thunder God, or the Thunder Clap Dragon. I don't know what the official title of it is, but I've done the manga version of this, but this is sort of more of a movie version. It was kind of released for a video game, I think, off the back of Infinity Castle. So, let's try this. I'm on a landscape page, pencil eraser, hit pause if I go too fast. So we're going to put his head like sort of in the middle, with the dragon here, and some of his torn kimono and his sword will probably go up there, very small. But the head is like the main thing in the dragon. So let's go for his eye. So we'll go diagonal, across and down. They give him quite a thick eyelid line. And they usually do like lots of spikes and stuff coming off the eye in Demon Slayer. The bottom eyelid line is just like a wide V sort of line like that. And there's like some stress lines underneath. So his eyes are kind of different in this form. You can kind of see, normally with Zenitsu it's like a half eye shape, but they're kind of glowing blue. So they do something different, right? So we'll do the yellow part first, kind of like this angled sort of eye shape, just around like that. And then, so the iris, so that it's kind of like in two sections, right? So they go sort of this sort of half moon section here, right? There's a line in between. And then they leave a sort of a bit of a gap, and then we go up again. Right, and then in between here is where the glowing sort of white line is, the sort of blue. And then up here is all like dark brown and stuff, just around it. But that's done with sort of color and all that kind of thing. So his eyebrow, spiky here, and then we'll bring it down, up. It's kind of like a fish tail sort of shape. Like maybe like a frown or two, an eyelid line just here. And then some texture lines just on the end of the eyebrow. So his other eye is kind of behind his nose, right? So his nose sort of starts, say, like a curve here. And then it kind of comes out to the tip and then back around. Then a nostril there. And then his mouth, sort of very grumpy, sort of downturned mouth. And then they have that shadow triangle underneath his bottom lip. There's a bit of hatching actually on the nose here as well. So his eye then is just it goes more vertical, right? Because his head is turned away. So your 3/4 pose. So the top eyelid line curves up this way. Different to this one. Still spiky, but just sort of a bit smaller and going more vertical. Bottom eyelid just underneath. And it does have some like lines underneath it there. Another glowing yellow eye. And again, they do that same thing, so it's a circle divided in half, basically. And then the eyebrow, sort of smaller here, goes up underneath. A lot of this eyebrow is covered in hair, but it's easier to kind of just draw it in and then cover it with the hair, you know, draw the hair in on top. So his face then, so we got like his chin just down here, which comes to his jaw and up to the ear. Now on this side we get his cheek, so it kind of curves out, then around his cheekbone, up the side of the face, disappears underneath his sort of hair here. So I'll just stop it there. You get a bit of an eyelid line actually just in there as well. So he also has some cracks on his face. They're red, but we have to sort of do them in black. So they're just these kind of, they remind me of like Naruto's sort of characters with their resurrection sort of lines on their face. Excuse me. Just these kind of cracks. Right, we can see a bit of his ear here. And we got to do that hair. So all these square, man, I have a cough now. Tickle in my throat, sorry. I don't know any water here either. So all these kind of square hairlines, we'll keep going. We'll soldier on. This way. Kind of just boxes, kind of. You know, to give them like some texture and stuff on the bottoms of them. Coming across his head here. Right, just stay going and comes up around his head in different sort of sections. So let's see, that's the big one. So this sort of bumps this way around the back. And then we're kind of looking at the top of his head, so we've got like little sort of bumps that come around. Remember, hair moves, you don't have to do it like exactly the way I am. Just once you get these sort of square things. Man, this cough. Excuse me. Just come on me suddenly this way. And just all square sort of down here. Okay, so that's his head. So then like his body's like all behind him. So the head's, he's lunging forward, you know, and the dragon's all here. So let's go for this. So we got like his collar here and his neck. That white collar first. Right, and then like some of the brown there, but then it's mostly this ripped and torn orange triangle thing. Kimono. Okay, so it's like all sort of flayed, like completely ripped up. Right, and it all sort of goes all back this way. So his other arm comes out this way from his head, like up here. So we go, just add some of this torn yellow stuff just as it comes out that way. Right, might as well, we'll put some triangles. You know, wherever you feel like, really. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. And they can be bumpy. They don't have to be like perfect triangles, you know, because everything's kind of torn and stuff. Right, so arms and hands now. So say like, so he's grabbing his sword, so we got like his thumb down here, say, just coming around kind of the hilt of the sword. You know, he's got that samurai sort of pose, that samurai energy, holding on to the sword down here. And we can see like his sort of his wrist, the brown sort of part, and then 4 fingers just there, simply in like that. And then his elbow just kind of pops back up here. And then this white part of the sword there, 2 lines on it, sort of going back that way. And I think got a white belt. And then his legs just basically go off this way, very loose. Sort of trousers just going off that way, all being pulled across. And his knee comes down. We can see a foot in here. You don't have to, the foot's optional, you don't have to do the foot. You could leave it like that, you know, it looks like his leg is out in front. But just in the image, I can see like a foot here. One of those triangle sort of things, and a sandal just down here. Okay, and various sort of bits of electricity and all that around too, so we'll do that at the end. I'll just get his sword in, so it's like he's after doing a slash, so the sword is like up the top up here, so very small, so we can just see sort of his arm going this way. We get the sleeve and the white part of the sleeve, and then just his hand roughly sort of grabbing And then his sort of round sort of hilt, the metal part here. And then the sword just goes off, and it's like up here, I think. Right, gone off that way, kind of small. And there's a bit of a black line. Going down there. Tricky enough now. So this dragon then. So let's see. Very spiky, glowing dragon. So we got like a big eye. Now it's very like glowing yellow, and it's not like a real dragon. So it's got lots of spiky lines and like a nostril. It's done very, very like jaggedy like that. Then like another one on this side. And he's got like a mustache thing, like a spiky hairline. Like there. And then the snout. Say another thing here, and then the snout goes this way. And this is like the eyebrow, I guess. And the other one sort of goes up this way. So the other eye is in here. It's loads of spikes coming down the face. You got like a bit of a whisker or something. Going out this side. The other whisker kinda so like starts maybe there, just goes off this way. And mouth kind of open then, big electric sort of teeth, just simple sort of zigzag like that. That's literally the way it is. Then the other side sort of comes down to a big hairy chin. And then it kind of just disappears behind Zenitsu. Maybe there. And then the forehead is huge as well. So it goes up behind the blade. So let's just go this way. Lots of this stuff. So it's like the water dragon or the fire dragon, but like, you know, lots of angles, lots of sharp little, you don't, no curves apart from like the eyes really. So it all goes back that way. All in behind Zenitsu then. It's all just lightning sort of in there. There's all like little bits of lightning sort of around, so you could do as much of that as you'd like, sort of all these sort of glowing blue little bits. But the dragon itself is yellow. And like some, like it kind of all zigzags off back that way as well. So it's loads of sort of lightning all back here. But I'll leave it there, keep it simple. Complicated, but keep it simple as we can. There is like loads of like digital coloring and all. But that's it. Thunderclap and flash. Zenitsu's moment from the movie. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.